Hey y'all, it's Mary MJ Harper, host of Sister to Sister Coffee and Conversations, and I am here this beautiful Saturday afternoon with my co-host,
the Michelle Colbert,
Stacy Styles,
DeLaShawn Bordeaux,
and it's your girl Free. Yeah, that's me.
So glad to be here for another episode of Sister to Sister Coffee and Conversations. Welcome. Come on in the room. We got a lot in store for you today. Ladies, how has your week been?
I have had a very productive week. Oh man, I was super busy. It was nice to see Friday finally settle in. So I have no complaints.
Okay. What was productive about your week?
I finished all my work at work.
Okay.
For the first time.
The work was working, huh?
I went home with an empty basket.
There you go.
All right, won't he do
That's
it?
productivity.
Won't he do it?
Won't he do it?
I'm rebranding, getting back into the barber game. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm, getting the footwork done and everything. So I'm excited.
Okay. And you, D?
It's been a busy week, a little hectic, but it was a great week. I have some things I'm working on that I can't wait to introduce coming up soon. So, hey, I'm excited. How about you, Free?
Oh, baby, you know I'm live and in charge every day, all day, honey.
Love it.
The week is what weekend is done. Now it's time for the weekend, baby. So let's get this started.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So the first question is, what does "we listen and don't judge" mean to you personally?
To me, it means that you can come to me and I'm going to listen. Yes, we do need to hold our friends accountable. But I've learned this with my daughter. Sometimes you can listen today and come back and hold you accountable tomorrow. Because what I need at that moment is to be heard. And what I don't want to do is to attack you when you're already feeling vulnerable and in need. And if you trust me enough to come and talk to me, then today I can listen to you and not judge. And when things are better or things have begun to change around, I can come back and address that situation with you and say, hey, let's talk about this and what needs to be different. What are you going to do to change this? Or how do we see ourselves changing? So I think it's important to just be that ear without always having a response, because some people just really need to be heard, and then you could come back with that response later.
To me, we listen and we don't judge. We listen with an open ear. We listen without having to speak. And whatever a person has to say, that's who they are. And we meet them where they are. Mm-hmm. Whether you're right about it or wrong about it, your delivery is how things map out. So if you're seeing someone you shouldn't be seeing, it may be something that you were brought up as a child seeing, and that may be familiar to you. So my delivery to you would be different if I'm just blurting it out. Girl, you know you shouldn't be doing that. Versus me listening to you and listening to your heart and hearing you, and then giving you that solid advice that we should do. But sometimes, because it's our friends, we don't want to give that solid advice. Right. We want to clap and be like, girl, get your money, or girl, he da-da-da-da. We want to coincide with it instead of really being honest.
Oh, I like that.
We listen, but we don't judge. That is really a broad statement to me, because look at that as a vision of a clean slate. Like, I don't know you. And typically what happens is that us as individuals, you want to say I'm listening, but I'm not judging. But honestly, you really are judging. Because everybody has an opinion. That's why I say that. Mm-hmm. So you really are kind of judging me. But here's what happens. We will show the person that we do not know more gratitude than the person that we do know.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
So we listen to, but we don't judge. But see, if your homegirl come to you and tell you, like you said, tell you some foolishness, and you know her past, you know her present. So in the back of your mind, even though you're not saying it, in the back of your mind, you're like, girl, you need to go on about your business. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'll take a little spin to it. You know, I'm probably about the only LGBT person on this committee here. No shade, honey. I love it. Don't matter to me. But we listen, but we don't judge. But I can come to you. I can tell you something about my sexuality. I can tell you how I conduct myself every day, all day. But you looking at me a certain way as if it's, but in the back of your mind, it's a problem. You came with that topic. I thought about it, and I text back. I said, "Oh, yeah, I got a lot to say about that because I do. Because there's a lot of things going on around here with the trans women and the biological women.
For sure.
But we listen, but we don't judge. But you want to tell them, oh, you'll never be a woman. You'll never have this. And the honest truth about it, they don't want to. They honor us, but they just want us to show them the same honor. But you listen, but you don't judge. So you tell a trans woman they pretty and they beautiful and go ahead and do what you do in their face. But in the back of your mind, you are saying to them, you'll never be me.
That's deep.
But you listen, but you don't judge. But you want to come to me and you want to tell me, oh, girl, it's okay for you to live your life the way you want to live. Woo. But in the back of your mind, you want to tell me I'm going to hell. You listen, but you don't judge. So let's talk about it. Let's really be deep about it. Let's not hide behind what's really going on out here. I mean, like I said, I love what you guys are bringing to the table. But if you want to talk about we listen, but we don't judge, is that really a true statement out here, though?
Exactly.
Is it a true statement? No.
Exactly.
Because I think like what Michelle was saying, or was that just you said? We're good on listening to our friends and not judging. But if you're a stranger, I'm probably judging you immediately. We see it all the time online. Where say it was a recent episode or a recent story I read where a woman's kids got killed when they were at home. It didn't say who the man was. But instantly everyone started attacking, oh, she's a sorry mother for leaving her around. Well, what if that was her brother?
Her mama, her sister, anybody.
What if it was a family member that she trusted?
Yeah.
So we instantly went into judging based off a 2-second story. Why? Because we didn't know her. We didn't know her backstory.
Right.
So, I mean, it does sound good, but unfortunately, I think as humans, we judge without thinking first.
We listen and we do not judge. That means being open to hearing another person's point of view or perspective. It doesn't mean changing your stance, backing away from your boundaries, or compromising your own individual beliefs. It simply means being mature enough to say, I'm willing to hear you out.
I love it.
You know, a lot of times you have too many people who are only able to listen for a response instead of listening to understand. So sometimes people just need a safe space to be honest without immediately being criticized, condemned, or labeled. Okay, so listening doesn't always equal agreement, but sometimes it's simply an act of compassion and emotional maturity.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I would agree.
I got a question though. Now I know some of these viewers are acting like, oh, they taking we listen but we don't judge too seriously. Okay, so let's go ahead and just talk about it. Most of the TikToks and the Instagram and the Facebooks and social media posts that I actually see when they say we listen but we don't judge, it's you and your partner, right? Okay, so you will say, well, we listen but we don't judge. Okay, so when you curling your hair and you leave hair on the floor, you know, it makes me da 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 da. Okay, but see, take that. We listen but we don't judge, but you still at the end when you cut that off, does that still get on your nerves?
Exactly.
That when she comb her hair, she leave her on the floor. You're not gonna judge her, but that still gets on your nerves, right? So that means you're gonna say something, right?
It's gonna be a constant thing. It's gonna be you have to fix it. I think that's what it is. The accountability part. It's like, okay, we put it on the table, so how are we gonna reevaluate the situation?
Right.
Like
I think me and Michelle kind of on the same thing. I don't necessarily for that. I don't consider that being judging. You know, I think that's just a level of having respect for one another in your mutual space and having a certain level of accountability for each other.
Yes.
You don't want to clean up after nobody else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, you don't want to clean up after nobody else.
I think that's an accountability.
That's more of an accountability type
because
stance.
Judging means I'm really harshly accusing you of something that I really can't. because we as people all have something that we do. And you talked about the LGBTQ, you talked about that. I don't look at it like that, because I've been in a relationship where I wasn't married and I was sleeping around. So no sin is greater than the next. So I can't condemn you to hell, but what I can do is say, hey, we got to ask for forgiveness for things that we do.
Exactly.
So I don't feel that I'm judging you. I feel that I'm coming to educate you that I'm wrong just as well as you might be wrong.
Yeah.
But I can't determine if you're wrong, because your walk is not my walk.
Exactly.
But what I know is what I'm required to give you. So I can't judge you, but I can help you.
Right.
Absolutely.
Now, if I had to
Whether
be
you
honest,
receive it, that's different.
if I had to be honest, it feels like that saying may have come from a bunch of people who was hurt by the church.
Yeah.
Because the church has become judgmental. Yes, the Bible says, come as you are, no sin is greater than the other. However, we have learned to determine what sin we feel is okay and what sin is not okay. So we've allowed ourselves to go to the Bible and decide that this is what the Bible actually means. And I feel like that saying came from a bunch of people who were in the church and felt like, hey, I want to walk away from the church because I no longer feel like I'm welcome, but more so judged. And I think when it comes to that, we have to be very understanding, because like you said, ain't no sin greater than the other. So why is it that you talk to me about having kids out of wedlock and act like I'm the devil, but you sit at home and you drink and get drunk every night and you act like you're okay,
Or gossip.
and you go
Talk
get in
about
front of the church and you want to act as if you're holy, or like back in the day when they used to pull you in front of the church and have you tell your sins in front of the world. But that's immediately judgment right there, because now I'm sitting here so that everyone can crucify me.
Right.
And the only reason you're able to crucify me is because everyone knows. But what if we put your business on the front street and then the
It
same
is.
thing? Is it going to
It
be the
is.
same accountability? Are you going to be open to that, or is it going to change the scenario?
Right.
So I think that's where it came from, but nobody was really willing to have the conversation on the basis of why it's here now.
Yeah.
And
If I can, being a PK and coming from the church, I have a different perspective when it comes to that terminology, church hurt. I think that a lot of I'm not going to discredit that church hurt is a real thing, but sometimes you want to put the sister at church and have a certain expectation on her and how she's supposed to move, shape, do things, when your girlfriend that don't go to church doing the same thing.
judging.
But your girlfriend at home don't even go to church. But Sister Sarah go to church. She might get it wrong, but she going. She's
Right.
trying. She's making an effort. She's up under the word. She's learning.
Right.
So one big thing for me is that I can't stand for folks that won't step foot in a church to tell church folk how they supposed to act.
That's right.
That's judgmental right there.
Right.
You won't even come into church. You won't even knock the door of the church. You don't even want to pick up your Bible and get an understanding of the scripture. But you want to take a piece of the scripture and apply it to folks that's in here learning and studying and trying to apply the word to their life. And, like when it comes to the preachers.
Because to be honest, church is for the sick.
Yeah,
It
is.
We
It's
all
supposed to
say
be.
that. We
It's
all
supposed
to
sick.
be. Yeah.
It's for the sick.
Because we going to Jesus, the master physician, and I don't know why people feel like when it comes to the church and dealing with people in the church, that people in the church are not human. Or they're not supposed to make mistakes.
Right.
I don't know why you put your pastor on a pedestal where he can't be human, or the first lady
Right.
where they can't be human.
Right.
They deal with emotions. They process
Right.
rejection.
Yes.
They process insecurities, and they still have to get up on the mic week after week after week and minister to you
And be accountable for you.
and be accountable for you.
Your soul.
They living under a microscope, and you judging the preacher for what they doing while you getting out the bed cleaning up from laying with somebody that's not your mate.
Yeah.
But you want to sit up and talk about what the preacher is doing wrong.
But you listen, but you don't judge.
But you listen, but
Exactly.
you don't judge.
Exactly.
I would
So-
say there is definitely a conversation that needs to be had between the church and the world.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would say I went through my struggles. I'm also a PK. I went through a phase of like, I ain't going to the church. I'm this. And I had to just refine my walk. My walk may look a little different, as in I may not go every Sunday, but I still go. And I will say this: a lot of people know who my father is. They know we don't have the greatest relationship. But one thing I will give credit to that man is, I have told that man things I've done, and as a pastor, he has not judged me. He will let me know how he is coming to me.
Yeah.
I'm coming to you as a pastor, and if he do that, he know I'm gonna say, "Oh God," because now you about to say some stuff that I don't even want to hear. Now I can't talk back. All right, he'll let me know he's coming to me as a father, but I have to give him credit for the fact that in the midst of everything we've been through, I could pick up this phone. I had a situation a few years. I called him and I was like, "This is how I feel. I feel worthless. This," and he spoke to me. At that moment, he had to step outside that pastor and talk to me as a father. But I have to be thankful for that, because it gave me a little bit more balance to understand that, hey, no matter what I do, I still have, and I thank both my stepfather and my biological father, because them are two men I can go talk to about anything. And it used to be funny because they would call on us. I would go to the club and people would call our father and be like, "Oh, such and such is at a club.
Oh, wow.
You judging," but we always had the same retaliation. Well, how they know I was there?
They was there with you. They was there right along with you.
Did you ask them? And my little sister was good for it. How Daddy, I was at the strip club. How they know?
Yeah.
And so I am thankful for that. And that is a balance that can be taught within the outside world and the church. You both live different lives, but how do you bring that balance to understand that you can both be heard and without judgment?
Yeah.
All right, ladies, for the second question. What's something you're currently struggling with that most people do not see? And for me, it's trusting people, right? So I've been through a lot. Family members, friends, people that I have history with. I was dating this guy. We were together for like 2 years, but we've been knowing each other since we were 15. So I knew his family. His family knew my mom and everything. So it's like he ended up putting his hands on me. You know what I mean? So it was like when that happened, and I, started talking to people about it, they kind of made me feel like I was the reason. You know what I mean? So it just made me go into isolation to where like I had to rethink like everything. Like I had to reevaluate my life. So I basically felt betrayed. I've been in a lot of emotional, physical, mental abusive relationships. And we as women, as black women, we take the emotional and mental abuse like nothing. But it becomes strong. It when it comes to that physical, it's like you really trying to break me. Like I'm a porcelain doll, you know what I mean? So it gets to a point to where you kind of lose yourself. And for me, my self-esteem kind of diminished.
Do you feel like that happened because you were being judged?
No.
It just happened?
It just happened.
Wow.
The insecurity. A lot of men are insecure.
When women do go through abuse, the victims they do tend to be judged more than the actual predator. And you heard
that's why I asked that question.
Yeah.
Go back to Cassie and the Diddy situation.
For sure.
What were the comments? Why didn't she leave?
Exactly.
In the midst of us seeing her getting stomped for leaving,
Yeah.
the questions came, well, why didn't she leave? Oh, she wants money. That is judgment. There is not one. Matter of fact, let's go to the statistics. Only 10% of people lie about being raped, domestic violence. It's the same as murder or anything else. But we believe a person when they say they were robbed, and not a person who says they were beaten or raped.
Touched anything. Yeah.
And you have to ask yourself, why is it okay for us to judge a predator or a victim and not the predator? Why do we automatically criminalize the victim and not the predator? In that instance, yes, I'm going to judge. Ain't no we listen and we don't judge. If you're a predator and it has been proven, I'm going to instantly judge you, because I'm not fit to blame this woman who didn't know who you were when you put that mask on and came to her. And that's a whole nother situation.
It is.
Yeah.
That I think any of us who have dealt with domestic violence have had to deal with. We don't even feel like we have a safe space, because now I'm going to be judged for speaking out about what happened to
Like,
me.
why did you stay? Yeah, for sure.
Judging me.
Because I'm going to get kicked out to leave.
And nobody's listening. That's the whole thing. Like, that's why I asked you that question, because I feel like even with domestic violence, or one thing that I actually suffer with, I mean, people know, is mental health. Shout out to everybody except for mental health issue, and happy mental health month too.
Yeah.
But sometimes when I first started, I didn't want anybody to know that, because even though I wanted to be heard, because I wanted the help, I wanted somebody to take the pain away or help me deal with what I was going through, you know. But I didn't want to be judged, so I was kind of hushed. So when people would see me out, they'd be like, "Oh, you so bubbly, oh, free, you make the room, you woo, woo, woo." But you don't. I was just talking. I think me and you was talking outside about this. You don't understand the hurt of what's going on in my head. I could be sitting here talking to you right now, but the whole time I'm thinking, damn, I just want to kill myself.
Right.
Or I just want to go jump outside that building because honestly, I mean, you say you hear me, but
Do you
are you
really?
really,
listening?
are you really hearing me?
Even listening.
Are you really listening to what I'm
Yeah.
saying to you? Like I'm really telling you something, but you just think it's a joke, or you're not really taking me seriously. And I think we talked about don't shush me on my last session, and we kind of got into listening to people and taking it as face value. But you're listening to me, but I feel like because of how you looking at me or how you acting to me, you're judging me.
Yeah.
So therefore, you never know how my mind's gonna go. But we listen, but we don't judge. But you
judge
you
me.
judging me,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then you be like, why you didn't say that? Why you just didn't tell me? Well, I tried to tell you,
But you wasn't
You
listening.
didn't listen to me.
Yeah.
Ooh, have
So-
you ever heard somebody say, "Well, I would have helped you, but you didn't say it this way"?
Oh,
And
right.
you're like, how am I supposed
Yeah.
to?
Yeah.
So you didn't give me a script to tell you how to say it. I
Life
said it in
doesn't
the way
give
that-
you a script.
Yeah.
Like, really, for real.
Yeah.
But what does that look like?
Yeah.
Right.
I think
What
I think
does
it's
that look
I
like?
think it's the empathy. A lot of times people are missing the compassion and the empathy because if they were listening with empathetic ears, they would
Yeah.
hear what you're actually saying without you even saying it. And I think my father is really good with that. I can call that man, and I can not want to tell him anything. He'll know just by my tone, like what's up, what's really going on.
Yeah,
You know what I
going
mean?
on.
So yeah, it's you have to have that compassion for a person.
And I think that's what but the difference in that is that's what you call listening from the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, instead of listening from the head. I know
Right.
for me, your question was, something that you're struggling with right now. So for me, one thing that I'm struggling with, or my two things that I'm struggling with in this season is I'm learning how to navigate being an empty nester. While also learning how to navigate parenting a young adult.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm still figuring out exactly what that even means, to parent a young adult, because they think when you turn 18, you're supposed to turn your kids loose to the world.
Oh, honey, no.
I'm
That's not how that works.
I'm not one of them kind of mothers. Like, that's one thing I'm judgmental of. I judge folks who let their kids turn 18 years old.
Okay.
And then turn them, loose to the world like, vultures.
Probably
After
going to
crack.
college together, baby.
Yeah, I'm not doing that with my kids. So I'm judgmental. I can say that I judge when it comes to that. Another thing for
You
me
shouldn't judge on
is
that, Miss
I judge for that because that's your baby. That's you don't just turn your baby out when they turn 18.
Well,
Yeah, I
I got
agree.
a question.
I
Then
agree.
how?
Tell
Okay,
me
well,
how.
I'm not saying for the record, I'm not one of them parents. Okay, but I just got a question for people that may be one of those parents, and how are they supposed to live if you got them by a chokehold? See, I'm not one of those parents where I feel like you ain't finna run out here book wow. You understand me?
Yeah.
I ain't no, but at least I want you to go out and get a taste of life. I want you to taste that because when you taste it, you can know where you're going. Because it's your at some point in time, it's your decision what you want to do with your life. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if I keep that structure on you that I had from 18 and down, if I keep that same structure that I had from 18 and up, you're never gonna learn. You're
Yes.
always gonna depend on mama.
Yes.
You always wanna, look for somebody to resolve your issues or look for
Yeah.
this, look for that. No, I don't want you to look. I want you to go out there and find out. So
Yeah.
if you keep not saying what you're doing is wrong, because I'm kind of like that too. But I'm learning to just let a little bit go. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Go out there and see what it is.
And I think for me, like you said, it what does it look like?
Yeah.
So for me, in my particular household, or one issue that I have, you want to turn your child out to the street, but you ain't even taught them how to open no bank account.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
baby, yeah.
true.
You
tell
ain't
the
taught them how
parent,
to open a bank account. You ain't taught them how to take at least $20-$25 set it aside every week.
Mm-hmm.
You turning them loose to the world when you ain't even taught them how to pay their little $60 cell phone bill
Yeah.
by themselves.
Yeah.
You turning them loose to the world and you ain't told them how to look for car insurance. You ain't told them what's required when you get your own apartment.
Right.
You have not allowed them to see you live.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Right.
see, one thing that we do with these kids these days, we have that
Shelter.
mentality. I don't want them to go through what I went through.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them to see the struggle. No, my child gonna see every struggle
My son
that I
knows
have.
my struggle.
Yeah, because I need her to see the struggle, and I need her to see the come up.
Yep.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
I
The
need
struggle
you to
and
see
success.
me go through the struggle.
Yeah.
I need you to see me take this plan and work it, and I need you to see what the results look like.
And I'm not
right.
gonna judge you while
And
I'm doing
not
it.
gonna judge
Oh,
you
yeah.
while you doing it. You gonna see me cry. You gonna see me get upset. You gonna see me frustrated. You gonna see me miss a bill, so on and so forth. But you gonna also see me show you what you need to do to make it. And the
I
best way
agree.
for me to
Yes.
do that is to hold on to you a little while longer. When they turn 18, give them a bill. Let them pay their own cell phone.
Well, yeah.
But even before, even well before 18, you
Yeah.
should be doing that.
You should be doing
Kylie
that.
is 14, and
I
I'm
agree.
trying to get her to the place where you understand.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we going to college together because my baby ain't leaving me. That's all I got, baby.
know
we,
that's
right.
we one and done. Me and Kylie, we is a
Listen.
package deal. We going
Yeah.
to whatever HBCU gonna take us together.
I know that's right.
But I try to teach her even now, hey, you're almost 14. I noticed something at the 5K to where I had to tell her, I feel like you're a little lazy. And I have to blame myself for that because apparently I've given you so much that you feel like you don't have to really just do nothing.
Right. I had that conversation.
And so I had to tell her at this point we're gonna have to change some things because, like you said, I can't send you into the world being this little lazy girl. You'll never get a job
Yeah.
because don't nobody want to work with no lazy child. And at this point, they tired of working with kids who can't even take initiative.
yeah.
I don't want to send you out there with a bad attitude because it's not gonna get you anywhere. You're gonna be stuck stagnant in the same space. So I had to learn just recently and slap myself and say I got a lazy child because of me. What am I going to do to change this?
Right.
You got to go get a job at some point. And then from there we'll figure out how to go for how can I get you to pay something. Understand how important your grades are because we run into an issue. You don't want to go to school every day or you want to be late to classes. Keep in mind you'll be in the same grade over and over, and that's a lesson I'm gonna let you meet on your own.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Now,
Because when
Miss
you go to work, you get fired.
Miss
Yeah, for
Stacy,
sure.
I heard you say out in the hallway there. I heard you say it's a way to conduct this. We listen, but we don't judge spiritually. I'm really interested on how we can handle this spiritually. Can you kind of walk us through or tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, ma'am. So that's actually my fifth question.
Oh, am I skipping quick? Am I out of line? Girl,
So
just
what
tell me
does
hush.
spiritual?
This ain't your episode.
I'm sorry.
Well, look,
I was just curious about something. I want to know.
that's ushering us on. That we ushering
what
on.
I'm saying.
Ushering on.
They don't let me live, y'all. They don't never let me live.
So what does spiritual maturity look like in women today?
Yeah.
So basically, a spiritually mature woman knows who she is beyond the roles of a mother, wife, leader, and entrepreneur and friend, right? So her identity is rooted in her faith and relationship with God, not validation with social media or achievement. She doesn't need constant approval, isn't shaken by comparison, knows her worth without announcing it. She also doesn't suppress her emotions. She knows to effectively steward them. And when she feels angry, she doesn't become destructive. Experiences everything that has hurt her. She doesn't use it to weaponize it.
So basically, what this in my mind, as you was reading it, I'm thinking. So when someone comes to me and talks to me about anything, doesn't matter where it is, I see. Because to me, I feel like every time I pray to God, or I have my conversations with God, what was go down between me and Him. I feel like He sees nothing. He just sits there and He listens to me wholeheartedly, mind blank. And then what He pushes out to me eventually, because y'all know sometimes God can be a little funny, is wisdom and grace. And He gives me mercy depending on the situation. So I feel like nobody is God. Let's go ahead and get that out the way. But when you talk about that, I feel like you're saying to me, look at them as they have, no matter who they are, brother, sister, mother, wife, husband, cousin, whomever, just look at their situation as a clean slate and apply loving ears. So when you apply loving ears, then you can apply a loving heart. And if you have to give them advice, it will come in a caring, and for those of us that are spiritual, in a spiritual way, instead of coming in a judging way,
Oh,
or
for sure.
your body language or looks or whatever coming in a body way. I mean, I'm sorry, in a judging way, right? Okay, that's what I was leaving. I just want to make sure I understood what you were saying,
yeah.
because that's where I got from it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. This was the one question I knew I didn't want to answer, because ultimately I don't feel like I've reached that spiritual maturity just yet. I feel like I've had parts of my life that were there, and then I've allowed things that I went through to kind of diminish me and bring me back to the beginning. So I would say that's important. But one thing I do know is when somebody's talking to me, if I don't feel led to respond then, and I go days and it's just sitting on me, and I might delete the text and redo it, then I know God is looking to speak to me. Because at some point, if you're stopping me from saying what I want to say and allowing it to flow, then obviously I need to say it in a different way. And the way it finally comes out, I assume, okay, now that was the way it was meant to come out. Even sometimes when people are talking to me, and there's two things you're going to get out of me. Either an immediate response, and if that immediate response comes out, I'll tell you. If it's a bad one, I'll be like, oops, sorry. If it's one that I know came from God, I'm going to say, I don't know where that came from. I can't even repeat it. That's God. That's for you to figure out. Or you might get the slow me that's listening, and then I'm like, okay, hold on. And in a few days, I'm going to come back and be like, so let's circle back and go from there. Now, I ain't going to lie also. That usually only works for me with my friends. When it comes to relationships, okay, next.
Girl.
But that's actually wisdom, though. Because if you know where you draw the line, you know what I mean? So you have to draw the line in any response, really. Because if it come off the cuff, it can be disrespectful.
But I'm going to jump in on that. And I think that means someone that's not just up quoting scripture, who's running into the church house. It means somebody who's loving people, who sees it on your face. You don't walk with a frown on your face. You're not approachable. Someone that love comes through you. I feel like you should be, even though we're not like the Lord, we're supposed to be like the Lord.
Emulate him.
We're supposed to emulate him. We're supposed to love thy neighbor as thyself. And I feel that we as women, we don't do that.
Agreed.
We will walk out of the house with what we were dealing with 5 or 10 minutes ago. Like, people don't speak to you in the mornings, that's who they are. We make excuses for that, but we shouldn't.
Well, you already know how I feel about that. That's one thing that's a bit pet peeve to me, because oftentimes we do say, and I'll just use that same scenario, oh, that's just the way they are.
That's me.
So that's just me.
Giving them excuses.
That's not acceptable. You know what I'm saying? Because if you know that's what you're doing, and you know that's an issue, and you know that's how you come off, then you should try to take the initiative to do something differently.
I don't come off that way, but
Yeah.
other people come off that way to her, and I make excuses for them. So I'll say, oh, that's just how they is. Girl, don't worry about that.
And I'll tell her
I be
in a
doing
minute,
that all the
I don't
time.
wanna hear that.
Yeah.
I'm with Mary on that. I don't want to hear that, because
Yeah,
you don't
I
have to
don't
be
hear
mean
that.
to me.
Yeah,
But I
that
have a
mean
question.
girl, that mean
Then,
girl
to me,
genre. I don't
Then
get that.
limit your intake.
Right.
Limit what you do.
Right.
So if you know that somebody's spirit irritates them, and you coming in,
Right.
all they gonna do is bring you down because it makes you mad. Now your day is like, I'm not gonna go to that level. I'm
Yeah.
gonna stay away because
Right.
I know you don't want me there.
Right.
Why don't
And-
they
yeah.
just quit their life and go?
But my
go
thing,
sit
okay,
home?
Yeah.
let me ask you a question.
They irritate your
Let me
spirit.
challenge the panel real quick on that. Let me challenge you real quick. So, I have a guy at work. Okay, he just don't talk to nobody, but he always smiling. Okay, and I'm the bubbly kind of person. When I come into work, I'm, hey, how you doing? It's a beautiful
that's
day.
me.
Da, da, da,
That's me.
da, da. Here's
said
the
that's
thing.
me.
That's me.
Here's the thing.
That's me too.
When we say we listen but we don't judge, right? If you don't speak to me, I'm instantly judging, because I feel like
you
you're
rude
because you. I'm saying that you rude, but really in reality, that's just not who you are. And let me tell you why I can
Right.
challenge. I can challenge what you said, because even though he don't speak to me, what I did is that I changed my train of thought, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna meet you where you are. Cool. So when I called him one day in the break room, but I said, hey, how you doing? And he smiled like he always do. I'm doing all right. How you doing? I'm doing good. So now
You talking to me? We friends in
we,
my
we,
eyes.
but my thing of it was is that when you say let's break this down. When you say you're listening, it ain't necessarily got to be verbally.
Body language.
They're talking to you by the way of their actions. I'm
Yeah.
watching your act. That's not you. Oh, let me see where you at though. So I'm gonna be quiet instead of skipping to judging you. I'm gonna be quiet. I want to see where you at. Are you really just not? Excuse me. Can't automatically say, oh well he got a nasty attitude. Because now that I met him where he was, baby, I can speak to him in front of anybody, and he'll say, "Hey, free, how you doing?" You see what I'm saying?
Now,
I brought him out. I brought him out.
that.
You see what I'm saying?
That is so true.
Now I'm gonna tell you a little bit different.
Yeah.
So I noticed that behavior with different people, and I'm the type of person. I'm an energy matcher. So I'm gonna match your energy. So if I'm coming, I'm speaking, and I notice a pattern of you not responding when I speak, that makes me feel a little. Wait a minute. That makes me feel a little certain
Like
kind
you
of
got an
way.
issue.
But is
with
that
me.
So you
is
know
that
what I
matching
do?
is that matching
No, but
their
this is
energy,
how I match their
or are
energy.
you expect for them to match your energy?
Well, I'm gonna tell you the situation.
Okay, go ahead.
So
Slide back, honey. Let me
basically,
see.
how that went. I noticed this pattern of how this person was, and I could walk by and I could speak, and they wouldn't open their mouth as if I didn't hear anything. So I started walking by that same space and not opening my mouth and saying nothing. And then one day that same person turned around and said to me, "Well, are you grumpy today? You're not speaking."
Not you don't speak to me and I'm grumpy.
Because
And I
But that's who they're used to you being.
I feel like you allowed them to take you out of your
Yeah,
character.
your element.
well, see, this is my thing.
Yep.
I tell my son that all the time. Don't let nobody
See,
take
this
you out
the
of
thing.
character.
That is my character. Don't get me twisted. I'm the type of person, I'm going to match your energy. I ain't got to speak to you. You know what I'm saying? My day going to go just smooth whether I speak to you or whether I don't. But because my mama taught me manners, I'm going to speak to you. But when I see that I'm constantly speaking to you and you going to keep looking in the computer and acting like you ain't heard nothing I said, but then when you notice, that means that let me know
That you paying
were-
attention.
Purpose.
You
Yeah.
were
You doing it on
I was
purpose.
speaking to you.
That's why I keep
and
going.
you were
I would too, 'cause
intentionally
you're
not
not-
speaking.
yeah, you're just being mean.
Because now you have noticed that I'm not speaking,
It's
which
the mean
means
girl
you
energy.
noticed that I was speaking.
Yeah,
so
that
when
mean
she
girl,
said it,
yeah.
you walking by, you didn't speak. You didn't.
I
say
sure
nothing.
am.
I said it out loud. I just told her. I said, I know you didn't just say that to me.
The devil is a lie.
Speaking when I walk by her every morning, and you pick and choose when you want to speak. I said, you don't get to call me out on not speaking. She said, well, you just have to forgive me. That's just how I am.
Thank you.
And sometimes I'm like that. But hey,
Thank
guess
you.
what? You choose to
That's
be
just
like
how
that.
I am. You choose to speak every day. That's just how you are. And what she said to you was, that's just how I am. Are you matching her energy, or was you expecting for her to match your energy? Because, and I say this because you already know she knows that you're speaking. And the day that you don't speak, she said, oh, you're not going to speak to me? You know why she said that? Because what you were doing was not her energy. If you would, instead of walking past her and saying good morning, you would have stopped at her desk like I did that dude. Hey, how you doing? She would have probably acknowledged what you were doing. Because some people are just like that. I personally don't think it's you matching her energy. You expected for her to match your energy. And because of the fact that she didn't match your energy, I'm
My
judging.
energy
Well, I'm
level
not
got
going to do
turned-
this no more.
I got turned
No.
off like TXU.
Well, you know, when it comes to our coworkers, if you've been at your job longer than a year, you should know your coworkers and who you can deal with. I work
And
in-
I'll intervene in that.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I told her, don't let it bother you, because I've been there way longer than she has, and I know this person. I have walked past her and she's done the exact same thing to me. It doesn't bother me because I know that's who she is.
Right.
But eventually she's gonna say good morning. I'm not needing her good morning,
Right.
because she doesn't define me and my day. I'm who I am, and I'm gonna say good morning, and I'm gonna keep walking, whether you said or not. I may come back, and I may even stop at her desk, and I may be, and I do this often, and I'll say, "Did you have a good night?" And she'll say, "You know what? I didn't. I got so much going on at home. My kids are this, and she's got some children that have some issues. This is going on, and I'm tired." So that gave me grace.
This gonna sound so terrible because I know we gotta
grace.
go. That makes
grace.
a good point. I don't care.
But see, my
I'm
thing
going through stuff too. My body hurt. I'm coming in here. I'm barely walking. I gotta pay these bills. I left one job. I came in here. Gotta work this job. Going home. Everybody is doing something.
But
everybody
me as a
is
friend,
going through
but
something.
everybody
I'm not gonna
don't have your
coincide
same
with you
spirit.
because I'm coming to bring you down because I know that you're going through.
Right.
So I want you to be okay and not
Right.
worry about what everybody else got going on.
Yeah.
So I'm coming to you as a straight up friend.
Right.
Don't worry about
And
it.
if
But
it's
not
spirit,
even-
everybody don't have your
going on
spirit.
in your life.
Yeah.
I know. She
Everybody
don't
have
know
your
what
spirit,
you got.
But let me
Yeah.
also give a different perspective. What if you speaking to her actually means something to her and she may not be able to voice
There it
that
is.
yet? And the day you didn't speak her, that might have changed her whole day. Because the one person who acknowledges me decided today she don't even see me, and now that hurts my feelings. But what I have learned from my coworkers, some of us come in there on some good days. I want to be exact. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? What we doing? But some days I'm gonna come in there and I'm gonna sit down and I just want you to leave me alone. I may not be mad. I may need to just calm down for whatever's going on. And then from there I'm gonna come talk to y'all. But I know the people who really like my hey, because
Yeah.
they talk to me and they be like, your energy just be like, we be looking for you.
Well, look, y'all, we want to thank you so much for tuning in to this week's
that time
episode
already?
of Sister to Sister Coffee and
We
Conversation.
need longer
the
time. We
goes
need longer
by, right?
time. Y'all think we need some longer time? Because I feel like we need some longer time because we be ready to talk.
Be sure to like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Sister to Sister Coffee and Conversations. Check us out on Fishbowl Radio Network. You can go to fbrn.us to check us out and look for Sister to Sister Conversation.
Yeah.
You can also check us out on Facebook,
Instagram.
through the Fishbowl Radio Network page.
Instagram.
Look, share the information. Let us know if you like the conversation. We definitely want some feedback. And until next time, stay breezy.
Stay breathing. Peace out.